Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, we're talking some boxing. I am what you need. You're watching my channel. If you like the content that you see, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and you can donate via Western Union. We're on the move. So, uh, man, David Benavidez, this is not the first time you lost your belt on the scales. What is wrong with these young fighters and making weight? And I don't want to hear any excuses. I don't want to hear about the COVID-19. I don't want to hear about none of that shit. It's a championship fight. That is very disappointing. And of course, Caleb Plant was listening to David Benavidez talking about, unification with him. It would have been one champion versus another champion, and this guy goes and just throws away his belt on the scale. It's 2 pounds overweight. Come on, David. What's up, man? We know you're a big super middleweight, but I mean, come on, bro. What's up with that? What's up with that, brother? It's the second time you did that. Hopefully, he get a little time to make the weight, come back and make the weight on the scales. I just hope so. I hope they give him a little chance, like what happened with Tank. Got probably an hour to make that weight, because if he hasn't made that weight, man, what is wrong with these young fighters? There's supposed to be some discipline there, man. Supposed to be some discipline. Don't know what was going on with David Benavidez. They're supposed to be losing weight properly. What happened there? Got Caleb Plant all crying and everything. And trust me, Caleb Plant is distraught about it, because that was definitely going to be a money-making venture. Now, we got to wait for David Benavidez to win back his title. Even if he beats this guy, he gotta win back his title. Oh, man, David. So he put a spoke in the whole thing. KP from KC says, WBC got a new belt every week, though, so now he ain't going to have to pay the fees. Man, I don't give a shit about that, KP from KC. That's on him. He lost the belt on him. You know what I mean? And that's the WBC belt. That's the actual belt. It's not no fucking franchise belt. Sorry about the F-bomb. It's not no franchise belt. It's none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why would you do? I don't understand these folk, man. Shoot. He's supposed to handle his business. You're supposed to handle your business. That was business to handle. Man, it really frustrates me to no end when a fighter comes in overweight. There is no excuse for it. It's unprofessional. 92 AKU, shout out to you, best. Best 168 is Canelo. I can't say that. He's not world champion yet. I mean, you could say that, but I wouldn't say that. His only fight at 168, as far as I do know, is for the WBA regular belt. I forgot what the guy's name is. That's how significant the dude is. And no disrespect to the guy, but I just can't remember his name. You know what I mean? Shout out to KP from KC. He did lose the belt. It's bad, but hey, Teofimo about to be franchised if you win versus Loma, and Sullivan said that. So I don't know what the hell's wrong with Sullivan, man. This franchise belt, I just wish they'd just kick this freaking franchise belt out the window. You know what I mean? Franchise champion. I don't want to hear about that. Just get rid of it. God damn, it's such a disgusting belt. 92 AKU says my boy Rocky Fielding. All right, Rocky Fielding, yeah. You can't be, come on, man. You can't be the best 168 beating Rocky Fielding. Now, you got to count all the stuff from before. Yeah, the 175 win that he had, the 160 belts that he pulled together. Yeah, sure. Right. But at the end of the day, he's not the best 168 until he beats the best 168. You know what I'm saying? So he had to solidify that. You could argue it though. KP from KC says, I'm sick of the sanctioning bodies, man. The WBA got like 5 belts in each weight class. First of all, let me give you a formula so you know who the real champion is. It's very simple. I hear some stupidness about the WBC and Devin Haney. I don't know what's going on with that. But the real champion has 1 belt, okay? You know what? Blue Blood Sports TV is actually talking on another channel about this. 1 belt per sanctioning body. That's all you got to worry about, okay? The other belt below that is the interim belt. So that's how you think about it. because these guys, I don't know what is wrong with these sanctioning bodies, but they're making belts like crazy so they could get money. Okay, we all know that. All right, so this is what it is. If you're in the WBC and you are a WBC champion, once there is no franchise, or as my boy like to say, Kentucky Fried Chicken French fries championship belt, you are the champion. All right. Whoever is the franchise champion is the real champion. All right. Really, I don't like it, but it is what it is. For now, if you are in the WBA, if there is no super champion, you are the champion. If there is a super champion, the super champion is the champion. All right. Thank God WBO and the IBF don't do shit like that. So that's how you find out your champions. Okay. There's only one champion per sanctioning body per division. All right. And we already got 4 different sanctioning bodies operating in 16 different divisions. We don't need no more belts. All the other belts is just conciliatory things. Diamond belt, blah, blah belt, blah, blah belt. I don't care what the belts are called and what they signify. They don't mean nothing. What counts. Okay. KP from KC5 says, KP from KC5 says, they worse than wrestling used to be. Intercontinental champ, world heavyweight champ, USA champ. You know what I'm saying? Now, back in the day, they had the NABO. They used to have the NABF, and they used to have the USDA or something like that. Something like that, right? And that was it. Okay, that was to get the guy to face. It was kind of like the interim championship belt. So I think the NABF was the IBF. I think the NABO was the WBO. And I think the USDA, I think it was. The USDA was for the WBA, right? And I can't remember what was for the WBC. So that was what it used to be back in the 80s and the 90s. And then now we got interim champion, and then all of a sudden the interim champion is not there's no longer interim. There's regular and super champion that came up somewhere around the 90s, 2000s, and then now we got franchise champion and regular champion. It's real a lot of bullshit. So don't study all them other belts. Okay, they don't mean squat. The only time the regular champion means something when there's a super champion is if the super champion for some reason vacates and leaves. Right? That's like the interim. And then, so don't study all them other belts, okay? Casual fans probably have a hell of a time with all these stupid belts because they don't mean anything. That's why I keep on telling people, you know, everybody talks about world champion, and undisputed and belts, being a belt collector. I don't give a damn about a belt collector. You know what I care about? And Roger Mayweather said, and all the old time greats, who you face and who you beat. And yet they may be world champions, which is great, but it's not how many championships you have in belts. It's the people you faced. You see what I'm saying? You're looking at a certain level of competition, so that's what really counts at the end of the day. And they may be world champions, and of course they could be all kinds of things, but they even beat world champions. I'm not saying no, but I think it's more important who you face, who you beat. Especially in the throwback days, if you're going to compare everybody from generation to generation, you know what I mean? KP from KC5 says, I am the super duper YouTube champion of the chat room. I got you, brother. I got you. Hey, you know what I'm saying? We might as well make a belt too, right? The fudge face champion and all that shit. I am the greatest bearded champion and all kind of shit. I know who the champs are. I'm just sick of it. I know, man. But I'm really sick of it myself. 9-2 AK, especially the franchise champion belt. I don't even know. It's a useless belt. 9-2 AKU, which 168 champ has the best wins? Now, if we're talking at 168, we're not talking about anywhere else. 168. It's going to be between Callum Smith and David Benavidez. Well, David Benavidez ain't a champ no more, so I can't even say him. Okay, he was. You know, he just screwed that up. So it will be between, well, it's actually Callum Smith. Callum Smith beat George Groves. Yeah. It could be Billy Joe Saunders, actually, because Billy Joe Saunders beat Chris Eubank Jr., Andy Andy, what's his name? Andy, uh, the British guy, Southpaw 2. Um, Shit, I can't remember his name right now. You guys know who he faced. Peter Quillin. Got knocked out by Julio Cesar Chavez. But he was, I think he was world champion when Billy Joe Saunders faced him, and that's how he became WBO champion. Beating Andy, can't remember his surname for nothing. I just slip up because see, so long I haven't used these names. You know what I mean? I'm kind of lazy. Yeah, but him. Who else did he beat? I think he beat 3 people that are note. You know, for us. So I think maybe it's Billy Joe Saunders. He may be the guy with the best names. Then it'll be Callum Smith, and then Caleb Plant. And since we don't have David Benavidez there anymore, because David Benavidez would have had the best win, I think, because he would have beaten Anthony Durrell. Very good fighter, WBC champion, 2-time WBC champion and stuff like that. So it probably would have been David Benavidez. As it is, I think it's Callum Smith. Or it could be Billy Joe Saunders. Which kind of sucks because Caleb Plant would have faced David Benavidez. Canelo would have faced one of them guys, Callum Smith or Billy Joe Saunders at 168. We'd have get a unified champion there. We'd get a unified champion there. And proceed onwards. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. So it goes in boxing. Let's see what you guys are saying. Andy Lee, that's the name. Thank you very much, 992 AKU. I am the YouTube franchise chat champ. Yeah, that for life, brother. I heard you can't pass it on, but then I hear Teofimo saying he could get the franchise belt. Some kind of shit like that. It's like, what? Andy Lee KO'd Matt Korobov too. Yeah. Andy Lee. That's the guy. Andy Lee. Yeah. Look, man. This boxing thing, man. The thing I don't like about it is that you know, there's a lot of stupid play in the whole thing. Hey, talking about that, here's another thing that came up, which I thought was very interesting. We're seeing Roy Jones Jr. He's doing a sparring. They're talking about Clarissa Shields versus Layla Ali, but they were saying that Layla Ali probably don't have time to face Clarissa Shields. But I think that would have been a good matchup for the exhibition. Then I hear Bob Arum talking about how he's still trying to make the fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury this year, which is a good thing to do. I say get that out of the way as soon as possible. And let's see who wins that. Best of 3, you know what I mean? Get the trilogy out the way, and then we continue on. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people. This is another thing that I have to say. Just because the fighter loses, even if it's in devastating fashion, doesn't mean they trash all of a sudden. Deontay Wilder is still, in my opinion, a very good boxer and a devastating puncher. So just because Tyson Fury beat him in the second fight, remember, he dropped Tyson Fury in the first fight twice. Okay? Tyson Fury comes back in the second fight, drops him twice. The fight gets stopped, right? So, I mean, best of 3. Let's see what happens. Right? Tyson Fury always had the edge on Deontay Wilder in terms of boxing, but Wilder still gets his punches in. He even got his punches in the last fight. So what I would say is that let's see. I think those two could duke it out again, and we can see some good stuff. Tyson Fury said some really stupid stuff, and then he came out with obviously a provocative video where he's using the N word, what we call nigga. He's using that. And he's using it in Notorious B.I.G. Now you know nigga, right? And I personally think that he deliberately did that. And that was to get that rise out of people. He's trolling us. But it is racist as well. He deliberately did that for that reason as well. And I find Tyson Fury is in poor taste for him to do stupid things like that. Like I said before, with the Paulie Malignaggi incident, if you racist, you racist. It is what it is. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody came on my when I was on Facebook and I was talking about what Tyson Fury did. You know, how he spoke about the Black Lives Matter movement, and even some people talking about how the Black Lives Matter movement, black people, I'm talking about some stupid ass black people talking about how it's a bad movement and whatever. I'm like, fuck y'all. But anyway, I don't want to curse and swear. I don't want to be bad. the truth of the matter is that talking to this dude, he was talking about the plight of the gypsies in England. And I said, well, it's nothing like the plight of the black people, black Americans right now. I mean, you ain't got to do shit to get, you don't have to do shit to get killed out there. You just have to be walking around. Somebody's in a bad mood or they don't like you as a cop, a white cop particularly, and they will take you down and kill you. Okay? And so the dude was like, tough luck. And I was like, you just talking to me about the plight of the travelers, the gypsies. And now you telling me tough luck? I thought you would empathize because you know what it is to have a hard life. But you had to behave like an asshole. A racist asshole at that. Fuck you. And I left him alone. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you can't be trying to tell me your plight, how bad it is for you. I tell you about somebody else who got it worse before you say, oh shit, that's terrible. Because you know what it is to be victimized. You gonna tell me tough luck? Well then fuck you. Why you raising up? And it's the same thing that I had to say to Tyson Fury. You raising up all this plight about people who have mental disorders, and you want to talk about and be empathetic about different groups of interest. But you can't understand and empathize with another group that just existing, and because they exist, you know what I'm saying? They're a plague. It reminds me of my favorite movie, BVS, Batman v Superman. Superman just exists. And because of that, Lex Luthor wanted to eliminate his ass. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I feel about the Black Lives Matter movement and how black people in general, which I am one of them. I am not a different species of creature. I am a human being just like all of you guys. I remember Night Court where the guy said, I am not an animal. I am a human being. That was Moose, tall guy. And it's exactly the same way how Black Lives Matter. That's what Black Lives Matter means. It just say, hey man, I'm not an ape. I'm not an animal. I'm not a monkey. Okay? I am a human being, just like you. I have feelings and so on. And yes, whether I do crime or something, do understand I'm still a human, like you. I have, you know what I'm saying? Treat me like it. And that's why I say humanism is very important today. All right? You can't be asking people to feel sorry for you, but you can't reciprocate the sorrow, the empathy because you're going through some shit with somebody else. If you can't do that, then what the fuck are you telling me that for? You want me to feel sorry for you, but you can't feel sorry for me? Oh, out of here, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I'm not on a pity party. I'm not trying to manipulate. That's what we call manipulating people. You trying to use your situation to show how bad your situation is. Okay? So you have such a bad situation, that's what we call using the race card. Because if you really were empathetic with other people, you'd understand my plight as well. And you empathize. We come together and we work together. But when you're using a fucking race card, you can only see your side of the story, even though it's better than another guy's side of the story, because I use the word white privilege, right? Who got it harder than you? But you can't see their story because you really trying to use a race card to get an edge. And that's what a lot of other racial groups do. Oh, look at my plight, look at my plight, look at my, because they know they can get an edge. It's about getting an advantage, being opportunistic. But the real people who suffering, like the Mexicans, like the black people, ain't nobody trying to stand up for them, right? Everybody else playing a game to try and get ahead. But they don't do that. They literally being bashed down. Everybody's happy and content to step on the head of a black person or step on the head of a minority group. They're happy to do that. And then they turn around after they trample their ass to death and they say, oh, you playing the race card. Fuck you. And fuck your group. I'm sorry about that. But I'm just saying, that's how I feel about it. Now, hold on a second. Andy Lee KO Matt Pro. I'm just glad Fury didn't sing after the win. You're silly. I'm just saying though. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. And the thing about it is, I don't care if you're racist or not, right? I still like your boxing, so I like what you do in the ring, and I separate that, and that's why a lot of people can't do. A lot of fight fans can't separate actions of people and their demeanor from what they actually do. As a fighter, Tyson Fury is brilliant, and I respect him. As a broadcaster, Paulie Malignaggi is excellent. I respect him, but don't get it twisted. I'm gonna stomp on certain views that they have. Not all their views, but certain views just don't fly with me. You know what I'm saying? I can separate the man, some of his views, from his boxing, from other aspects of his life. You know what I'm saying? I know I wouldn't really want Paulie as a friend because he could backstab me. Tyson Fury could backstab me if it comes down to a race issue for some reason. He don't got my back. You know what I mean? Because he wants his privilege. So I get it. And once you understand where people are coming from, that's why I like when people express themselves. When you understand where people are coming from, you know, one of the things, people who will really put that stuff out into the open, at least they let you know where they're coming from. One good thing about Donald Trump, you know he racist, and you know where he's coming from. And I don't care what nobody say, he racist. Okay, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, he put it out there. He let us all know what he is. No matter what other people say and how they spin it, that's what he is. He's also sexist. We know that now. He's honest. That's what I like about him. He lies, but he's honest. He'll let you know in a very simplistic way where he's coming from. All right? So that's a good thing. Versus somebody else who's pretending and you think they are one way and then you find out there's something else. Okay, I hate that. So there's always a silver lining at the end of the rain. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't have no problems with fighters doing what they do. I hope that Tyson Fury could face Deontay Wilder this year and stop all the baloney and the bullshit about some stay busy fight. Try to get the fight done. Try to get it done for November. Hopefully this COVID-19 situation will be resolved by then. We can get crowds in there because it's starting to get crowds in different places. I was looking at some comedy events. Dave Chappelle and other people put out the comedy events out there, and people are going to the comedy events, but you have different spaces. Some people have to wear masks, whatever. But we got some entertainment going. So the entertainment industry is kind of moving forward. We got boxing rolling. I'm happy about that. It's not by far ideal situations at all. People still getting tested for COVID-19 and stuff, positive and stuff. It's not affecting them physically, but they testing positive for it anyway. So it's affecting people's money still. And I understand how difficult it is in these times because of the cash flow and stuff. But hopefully we ride through the wave and we keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? For those of you who have problems with face masks and stuff, I found this and I find it excellent. This is a face mask. I just slip it on like this, so I can actually breathe all the way up through here and all around. So I think that these are the best. That's the best. That's the best stuff out there I've seen so far. You know. 92 AKU says, for reals, man, boxing fans be hating so much on boxers these days. Guys are awesome in the ring. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't deny Tyson Fury's skill and his ability in the ring. And what I would say is, what Billy Joe Saunders said about domestic violence, for example, I thought that lost him his fight. But you cannot deny that Billy Joe Saunders is an excellent boxer. All right, he's an excellent boxer. All right, he's an elite boxer. But he's some of the stupid shit he be saying, which he thinks is, for some reason, he thinks it's funny. All right, if I go in a comedy club in a controlled environment and a comedian is making these kinds of jokes, that's a controlled environment. And they make it in a proper way. Billy Joe Saunders wasn't being funny. Okay, he thought he was being funny, but it wasn't funny. All right, comedians could pull this shit off because they know how to work the joke and organize a certain way. I've heard comedians say lots of controversial things. Okay, but they're able to pull it off because they do it in a sense of humor that makes you think. All right, so you're kind of resetting the thinking the situation through because they see things in such a way. But Billy Joe, he don't know how to do that stuff. 92 AKU says, like most hated boxers this generation are Khan, Floyd, AB, Victor Ortiz, All of them have legendary moments. I mean, you also got like guys like Canelo. The guys at the top. So Tyson Fury is being hated. Deontay Wilder is being hated. Anthony Joshua's being hated. You got Canelo being hated. You got Lomachenko. They get some hate on Lomachenko. Some people saying he didn't face nobody. Terrence Crawford's being hated. Errol Spence is being hated. All the top guys, in the North American way, for different reasons are being hated. Okay. Um, Boxing is a kind of a combat sport, but I really feel like we need to highlight the good things about these guys. A lot of times we like to look back in time and talk about all the old time greats and shit, and there's all time greats happening in front of our faces. It's happening in real time in front of our faces, and we like bashing these guys, and I'm like, what the hell are we doing that for? They don't do that in UFC. They don't bash guys in UFC, and guys be taking a whole set of losses and stuff. And we just go in on people. I saw them going on Devin Haney. I saw them going on Javante Tank Davis. A very spectacular, exciting fight. I was just talking with my boy G Funky, and and you get this antagonism towards these guys. They have flaws. All right. Not everybody's going to be Floyd Mayweather, but at the same time, they went in on Ryan Garcia for demanding money. They went in on Teofimo Lopez for turning down the fight because it was offered too little bit of money. I mean, it's what it is, But at the same time, you can't deny the greatness of these guys. You're talking about Teofimo Lopez. What is it? How old is he? Like 24, 23, right? Man's a world champion already. We have this whole new generation of fighters who become world champion in their 20s. Early 20s, 21, 22, 23. This is some crazy shit that we're seeing in this age. Guys don't become world champion that early in their career with so few fights. So, I mean, it's like all these things we're looking at unfolding in front of us. Some phenomenal things these guys are doing. And yet, the first thing we see is negative. The first thing we want to do is tear them down. And I think it's because a lot of us are so used to being mediocre in what we do. And we probably be dissatisfied with certain things in our lives that we start tearing down guys instead of being inspired by them, And it kind of started with Floyd when they started tearing down Floyd and ripping down Floyd. When the bar is that high with Floyd and you're tearing down that kind of fighter, well, what do you expect? You're going to tear down everybody else, right? Right? Because how you build your foundation. So if your foundation is, I'm going to tear down this guy who's excellent. He does everything excellent. He does everything perfect. He does everything good. He has this ridiculous bar and standard that he put up. Well, if you're tearing him down, what do you expect? Right? And then a lot of people now who don't know nothing about boxing, never seen boxing before, they're just fans of a fighter, come into boxing and then start making some ignorant ass statements, knowing nothing about boxing. So this is the way how it goes sometimes. Poopy Sis Drunk, any more weight loss tips? Just make sure you're drinking water, brother. Drink your water. Make sure you don't damage your body or strain anything. Continue to exercise, stay a bit active, and eat your 3 meals a day. But once you finish eating the meal, don't go eating nothing else. Drink water in between. My practice is very simple. I wake up in the morning, I drink water. I drink maybe 2 of these. Right? And if I have time, I eat. Sometimes I eat 10 o'clock, sometimes I eat 8 o'clock, sometimes I eat 11 o'clock. I try to get 3 meals in every day. So my next meal might be a snack. My snacks might be anything from chia and flaxseed chips to nuts, because I use a lot of grains. My diet is mostly a grainy diet. Now, after that, of course, you wake up, you do your stretches, and then you exercise, right? Exercise don't have to last very long. It could be 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. May do a little bit of shadow boxing after. And then after that, you can go on to do whatever it is you're supposed to do for the day. I may go outside, plant. I may stay inside and clean up. I may go out and sell some stuff, or I may go and do my business online or whatever. Then after that, what you have to do is you want to be able to eat your third meal somewhere in the afternoon, between sunset and nighttime, your third meal. So just 3 meals a day. If you want a snack, you can have a snack for lunch, maybe. So it doesn't have to be that big. The snacking is usually, for me, is grains, nuts, that kind of thing. Okay, and I use with that I use these things, but you guys probably don't have it. This is a moringa seed. This is a moringa seed. So I break it. It's a nut. There's a nut inside of it. So I'm going to break it right now. All right. And inside of this seed is a nut. There you go. It's a nut. That's the moringa nut. And you can just eat it. Or you can put it in drinks and beverages. So you can use a smoothie, and you can put your moringa seeds in the smoothie with cinnamon, with I don't know what your smoothie would be, berries. You can do a berry smoothie. You can add a little bit of almond milk. You can actually go get your almonds. You can use this with nuts. It's best you want to mask it a bit. It tastes sweetish, like peanut butter, nutty kind of flavor, but it has a bitter aftertaste. So this is really good for things like cancer. It's very good for things like in your cologne, stopping inflammation in your cologne. So I'm like 20 years younger than I actually was. I feel like I'm 25. You know what I mean? It's really good. Even well, for your joints, it's mainly water. You drink a lot of water for your joints. Make sure you stretch to decompress your spine, your skeleton, try and keep your body in alignment because sometimes your body goes out of alignment. So those are the kinds of things I do, and I use these with my food. So like, uh, so let me show you something. This, as you can see, is selenium, right? I think I talked to you guys about selenium. Selenium is used with everything. All the processes in your body use selenium because you have enzymes, and the enzymes use selenium. So this is what I mainly use. Now, because I live in the Caribbean, there's a lot of fruits around me, so I can easily eat a fruit instead of trying to eat or raisins and nuts or something. So I don't really use processed sugars. Now, every now and then I eat something with processed sugar because I want to get something else from it. So like, for instance, I want chocolate. I eat a chocolate bar or something because chocolate's good, but you're trying to get the one that's least processed. You eat that. Or I want cinnamon, so I might eat a cinnamon roll or something. So it has sugar in it, right? But every time I eat sugar, I eat something to destroy anything that takes the sugar in at a high rate. So this is one of the things, and a really simple thing. I'm sure all of you all around the world can get this. It's cheap as ever. Almond Hammer baking soda. Okay, I don't use it every day, and I don't use it all the time. But on occasion, if I'm using something very, very sweet, I take a really small amount of it. This is too much. I just take a fingertip of it, put it on my tongue, and I use it with the stuff. Now you can mix it in with the stuff, or it depends on what you're using. But I come from a country where we use sugar cane. This is blackstrap molasses. I don't think you would get this kind of brand, but you can look for it, and that's really good for you. A lot of boxers and athletes they typically try to eat healthy, try to stay away from too many processed sugars or carbs. But it depends. Like if you're a high energy kind of high octane person, you probably could burn the carbs off. And carbs are good. It like sugar is good. It's not bad per se, especially brown sugar. But the problem with it is usually when you're just eating, saturating your body with sugar, it just slows down everything and you get very sluggish and clumsy and sick, right? And that's because you're using too much and you're not hydrating yourself enough. And also rich sugar, not just your cells in your body like sugar, fungus like sugar, viruses, bacteria like sugar. So, fermentation, when you use something sweet and it ferments and stuff, right? So, yeast like sugar and that kind of thing. So cancer like sugar. So you want to be able to, if you're going to ingest things with sugars, you want to use something like this, a moringa seed, which has a lot of cyanide in it. So it's like a poison. And just in case something's in there that's not supposed to be growing in your body, when it tries to take up the sugar or whatever, it'll take up this stuff with it. And then this stuff is good for like the lower cultures in your gut, because most people get sick because of the things that happen in their gut. So I hope this helped you out, Poopy Strong. But the most important thing for losing weight, You're eating one meal, one meal, one meal. The meals that you eat, remember, you don't want to be using too many high energy foods if you're not doing a lot of stuff. So if you're moving around and stuff, if you're training, you're boxing training, shadow boxing and stuff, that kind of thing, right? If you're doing that, it, you know, you don't want to use a lot of sugar. I use a lot of nuts and a lot of processed, a lot of peas. See, I have lentils here. So I use a lot of nuts, peas. I use a lot of turmeric. This is curry, because we live in an Indo community as well. So it's beautiful. My country is beautiful. So these are some things. This is turmeric or saffron. This is jeera. Maybe those things. My food. And of course, cinnamon's good for you as well. You know, sometimes I use a little bit of apple cider vinegar. So that's the stuff that I use, and it really if you want to stay healthy, that's one of the things you can do. And then to lose weight, remember, don't try to snack too much. And if you're sitting down a lot every single day, you're not going out there. Oh, another thing, plant your own food, right? So I'm planting trees in the back. I hope to. I should actually go and put some provision in the back. I need to go plant some provision, stick it out in the back as well. See how things come out with that. But that's the key. And always drinking water. You want to, like, if you're eating, after you eat, you wait about an hour or so, and then you drink maybe 2 liters of water. How you do that? Well, you guys can't probably do this. But like, 4 cups of water. Drink some 4 cups of water before you go and eat something else again. It depends on where you are in the world. If it's hot, you want to be drinking water as much as you can. If you have 500 ml bottle of water, you want to drink like 4 of those. That's what I do. So I stay pretty hydrated. Well, I'm not hydrated, my whole body gets dry. So this is like 2 of them. I just sip away in between meals, and then yeah, that's it pretty much. So I keep myself hydrated, so you can get a flow through your body. And of course, gotta use salt. This is salt. I use salt in my food. There are times when I don't use salt in my food, but if I don't use salt in my food, I get cramps. So I have to use salt. So that's basically it for diet. And for exercise, to lose weight, you just keep on working at a high routine. So what happens is you put in a certain amount of food in your body, you pass out a certain amount of food in your body, and you try to eat a lot of greens. You can use things like carbohydrates like rice, pasta. I don't like pasta, so I use rice. I don't really like using floury products because they stick up inside of me. So I use like rice a lot. I use ground provisions. That helps to, again, build you. And I've been maintaining weight for the longest while. I've just been 160 pounds. Even when my body, sometimes my face kind of stores a lot of water in it. So I get puffy up here because I'm not moving around enough and not proper circulation. I still weigh the same weight. And I drink a lot of water. So what happens is when you stop drinking water, you can lose the weight now. So if I want to get down to 154, it's going to be easy for me because all I got to do is lose the water weight. And if I'm like 160 and I got to get down to 154, that's only 6 pounds of water, which I should have that or a little bit more inside of me, because I'm drinking a lot of water every day. And that's what the athletes do. In between their eating, About an hour after, hour and a half after, they drink, and you always see an athlete drinking water. It's always that something, and they're just drinking water, and that's how they're able to lose the weight because now your gut, after it flushes out the food that has been digested, whatever, and goes into the duodenum, whatever, you're still drinking the water. Hydrate those surfaces, so it keeps them nice and moist, and it just absorbs the stuff into your body, and also helps to wash stuff down, and it keeps you from forming, the hydrochloric acid that might get into wherever. It helps to wash that down as well, and sort of keep a pH of inside of there better. But if you go and you eat and you drink water on top of that, it causes you to make more acid. So you don't want to do that. You want to eat, wait, then drink, and then just keep drinking, right? And if you're an active person with an active lifestyle, you'll never have enough water, especially in a hot environment. You just always wanted to drink water, just to keep the body hydrated. So that's the key, all right? Now, the moment you're drinking water and you start to swell up or something, it means the water's it's not retaining in your bloodstream or in your body, and that's a bad thing. And that can only be because you're not active enough. So you have to move around and so on. Because I used to have bad acid reflux. I used to have bad problems breathing. I used to have poor digestion. I was gummed up on the inside. And so this sort of lifestyle, this sort of living is what kind of helped me to, and boxing and a whole, and just being active helped me to turn on these lights here. It helped me to be much more healthier. So I've been living a healthier lifestyle for a good period of time. I have some unhealthy habits though, which I have to break. But once you get past, once you stay with healthy lifestyle, healthy habits, you know, one of the unhealthy things to do to your body. Oh, that was on. One of the unhealthy things you can do to your body is um, sleep wake cycles, man. Mess that up, and you can mess up everything. You could get really, really sick. A lot of people don't realize that, especially the younger people. So they just keep on going, but that's not ever a good thing. You should train your body from early to shut down at certain times and keep certain patterns. And I cycled back into the day, I think it was 2 days ago or something like that. But I still have problems sometimes going to sleep early. So that's something you got to watch out for. Another thing is sometimes you're absorbed in something and you're not eating anything or something. So hours. You might start on a project, early in the morning, and you go all the way to the night and you haven't eaten anything. So those are the kinds of things you have to be careful about, because you could slip up really bad, and it could be a very bad situation, very quickly, you know. So that's what I gotta say. That's what I gotta say about that. '92 AKU says, yeah, but Canelo, Bud, Spence, Fury, Wilder are elite. I'm talking about Khan beating Maidana, Ortiz beating Berto. Oh, okay, I got you. And AB on the mic, legendary-ish. Yeah, it's true. Throw a sweater and a jacket and go run 2 times a week. And don't drink soda. B-Up calls that liquid crack. Yeah, anything with sugar in it. Sugar is one of the worst drugs in the world, but nobody talks about it like that. Too much of it, at least. A lot of people get addicted to it, and sweet stuff. And now they have corn fructose syrup. That's worse. But I get you, man. I get you on the Virgil Ortiz. Not Virgil, Victor Ortiz, his win. It was an epic win against Andre Berto. It's the pinnacle of his career, but he also beat other guys, that were epic fighters themselves, Yeah, he was a fantastic fighter. They always remember the Maidana fight, but they forget it was an epic battle in itself, too. Yeah, Victor was a good fighter. It just he had jaw issues after Josecito Lopez, dangerous Josecito Lopez, broke his jaw. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But yeah, AB had the gift of gab, and he has a big following. It doesn't matter what AB do, people are gonna follow him. He's that famous, and he's doing his rapping career off of that. Yeah, Khan did beat Marcos Maidana, but even though Khan beat Marcos Maidana, let's be real though, Marcos Maidana wrecked him. He beat the shit out of him in the later rounds. But yeah, he did get the win over Maidana. Yeah, people. So I kind of went a little bit overboard with this one. I got a couple other videos coming up, and you guys can check out my community section on Ray Robinson, not Sugar Ray Robinson, the new Ray Robinson from Philadelphia, and my piece on him because, again, a lot of fighters they just don't get the opportunities that other fighters get because they not with certain promotional companies and or their skin color or whatever it is, or just their style of fighting is so difficult that ain't nobody really want to come and see them. The avoided fighters in boxing right now are Dillian White. Well, not so much Dillian White. Dillian White's getting names. He's fighting Povetkin right now, so he's just a mandatory and he should get his mandatory shot at WBC title. But let's be real. The guys that are being avoided right now in boxing, Demetrius Andrade. We got Ray Robinson's one of them. We got a 147. We also got Terrence Crawford, who's having difficulty getting fights from guys. We got I don't know for 140. I know for 135 right now. Devin Haney's having problems getting opponents. Hopefully he lands some. We got Guy Russell Jr. is not really getting opponents like he wants to. He's at 126. What else we got? We got at 122 or 118? I think 118 Guillermo Moringa now. What else we got? That's about it, right? Of course, all of them were usually black fighters, which is sad. But sometimes you're just too good for your own good. You're too good for your own good. You know what I mean? Floyd would have been ducked for his entire career, but he had the right team behind him. And then he had the Olympic pedigree and all of that, so that kind of helped him out. But I think through history, man, there are guys who other guys just didn't want to face, either because they didn't want to look. They think these guys wouldn't make them look good, or Nate Campbell's the guy I'm talking about. Nate Campbell. Yeah. It is what it is. That's boxing for you. But we're gonna highlight them anyway. So that's basically it. I'm gonna catch you guys later. I am what you need. You're watching my channel. Hopefully you guys' lives are being better by this channel. That's what we're here for. To supply you what you need. All right. I'm gonna catch you guys later. Peace.